Good day, good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are on this lovely planet. Welcome to week 15 of the NFL 2020 season. And in week 15, we have the first place. Yes, you heard it here. The first place Washington football team battling the Seattle Seahawks. This is going to be a tough matchup. The Seahawks have one of the most elite offenses in the league right now. But they are going against what is really becoming one of the most elite defensive lines in the league right now. So man, I'm telling you, get ready for a battle, because this is going to be like Muhammad Ali versus Mike Tyson, man. This is going to be an awesome game. Of course, I'm saying that, and I'm worried. Why am I worried? Well, I'm not quite sure who the quarterback is going to be. I'm really pulling for Dwayne Haskins because, let's just face it, Dwayne has not had the best of years. The dude is obviously not ready to start in the NFL just yet, but I'm pulling for him. I don't want to call him a bust, and I'm especially pulling for him if he's going to be starting this weekend for the injured Alex Smith. Now, I'm going to tell you up front, I am a huge Alex Smith fan. That is one thing that I will tell you that I think that Bruce Allen did right. And I know that's going to probably strike me down with lightning. I feel like that is one thing that Bruce Allen did right, was to bring Alex Smith to Washington. I had been wanting Alex Smith to head over to the Redskins when he was still playing for San Francisco. At that point, certainly when it looked like Colin Kaepernick was taken over for good. So he went to Kansas City, tore it up in Kansas City, and then Kansas City goes out and they draft Mahomes, and we know how that story goes. So Smith comes to Washington, and he's 6-3 as a starter, and then of course that horrific leg injury happens. Honestly, I thought we had seen the last of Mr. Alex Smith, but I think I became an even bigger, huge fan of Alex Smith with him battling back from that gruesome leg injury. For any of you guys who saw the ESPN special on Alex Smith's road back to health, you would not even fathom the thought of believing that this guy could actually walk again, run, let alone play in the NFL. But yet, here it is, 2020, and I knew at some point, I knew in the back of my head that Alex Smith was going to be back in playing football at some point. I just didn't know in what capacity it was going to be, but I knew at some point we were going to see Alex Smith. And sure enough, Alex Smith comes in during that Rams game. And of course, it was not the best of times for Alex Smith, but just to see him out there taking hits but getting up and playing, it was just tremendous. But what's been tremendous is how Alex Smith has improved in the past several weeks. He's starting to really, I could tell, especially it seemed like in, I want to say the Bengals game, he really, I could notice that Alex Smith was really starting to get back to his old self. And I'm not talking about the dink and dunk Alex Smith. I'm really talking about the one that played in Kansas City. This dude, I can't say enough about him. I'm unabashed, big fan of Alex Smith. And even if he went to play, dare I say, to some other NFC East team, I would still be a big fan because he's just an inspiration. He really is. If you're not inspired by his story, you just don't have a soul. But getting back on track here, Alex Smith, of course, hurt his calf on that surgically repaired leg and didn't play for the rest of the 49ers game. So Dwayne Haskins comes in, looked pretty good in the beginning, I thought. But after a while, the same Dwayne Haskins that we were noticing week in and week out kind of started to show up in that game. And that has really become a big concern for me. As a fan, I want to see Dwayne Haskins succeed. I want to see him take that next step. And I just want to see him play well. And I don't know, it's just, to me, I feel like it's very likely that Dwayne Haskins will start on Sunday. And that's going to be tough, because if the Washington football team expects to win this game, number one, that defense is going to have to continue to be stout like it has been in the last few weeks. But number two, we're going to have to score some points, because Seattle is going to score on us. But we're going to have to really get into Russell Wilson's head. We're going to have to rattle him early. But yes, I think this game, honestly, is going to come down to quarterback play. Now, what we learned this week from Coach Ron Rivera is that Antonio Gibson is back out practicing. He wasn't taking part in drills, from what I think what I heard, but he is, doing some drills on his own on the sidelines, and so that is good news. That means that hopefully we'll have Gibson back within the next couple of weeks. I don't expect to see Gibson in this game, unfortunately, and I think Barber was also a little banged up, so the Skins went out and signed a running back this week from Chicago. So we may be seeing him along with McKenzie a little bit. Well, not a little bit. We're going to see a heavy dose of McKenzie. And what can I say about him? He is just, wow. He has been the workhorse. I know that when we first signed him at the beginning of the season, people were like, we got Darius Geis. And what about Bryson Love? Why are we signing these backs? Well, it's obvious now we're starting to see why we signed J.D. McKenzie. And other exciting news as well is Gandy Golden. He may be coming back pretty soon, and I really want to see more of him. I feel like he's going to be that great switchblade knife type of receiver, the receiver that stretches the field. And my goodness, that is only going to free up Terry McLaurin even more. That's going to be a dangerous thing. If we can develop Gandy Golden, him along with Terry McLaurin, and then Cam Sims, how he has just came out of his shell, and he is really starting to become, the dude has been in beast mode. So honestly, I'm looking at our wide receiver core, and I'm really seeing a lot of talent there. The talent that is developing, young talent that we may have around for several years to come, which is awesome. But I have to say, the biggest concern, honestly, that I had for this season, and I still have in some respects, has been the offensive line. Moving on from Trent Williams, I was kind of like, how do you move on from a future Hall of Famer, a perennial Pro Bowler? How do you do that? But I will say this offensive line, it's not the most perfect offensive line, but it has stood up, and it has given us some running lanes, and it has given the quarterback some time to throw the ball. There's always room for improvement, so I do think in the offseason we do need to work on that offensive line. But I will tell you, I've been impressed. Yes, our quarterbacks have been sacked, but I just feel like overall, it could have been much worse. I've seen years where this offensive line was horrid, and you just have to think back to when we had the old ball coach, and how bad that offensive line was. I mean, shoot, many of the fans really felt that that offensive line just kind of ruined Patrick Ramsey. But, all right, sorry, let's get back to the year 2020 and this week. What do I expect is going to happen this week? Well, I'm going to be honest with you, man. It's going to be an extremely hard game. I think if the the football team, I think if Washington is able to somehow keep the game close in the fourth quarter, I feel like we can pull it out. But I'm telling you, I don't think that the Seahawks are the type of team that you want to get behind early in the game. Kind of like the Rams. You get behind with the Rams, you're not going to come back because they have a very, very stout defense as well. But Seattle, their defense has been kind of shaky, so we should be able to score, assuming who's at quarterback. Hopefully Dwayne Haskins has put in the time and the work this week, and hopefully he is mentally ready because I really believe he has the talent, he has the arm. It really comes down to mental toughness. So I'm going to end this video by saying I do think Seattle's probably going to win this game, especially if Dwayne Haskins is playing, because I think Dwayne Haskins, he's going to give it his all. But I feel like it's going to come down to turnovers. And I think Dwayne is probably going to turn it over at some crucial point in this game. And I hope I'm wrong on this. But never fear, because I really do believe that we're going to see Alex Smith either back in this game or we're going to see him the rest of the season. We honestly have to put our best players on the field to stand any chance at all of winning the division and getting into the playoffs. I think this team can be very dangerous. I think if this team gets into the playoffs, wow, this is going to be a tough team to beat. But yeah, this week I'm going to say we're probably going to drop one against Seattle, but never fear, we're going to rebound the next week, and I'll tell you why. But I'm going to save that in the next video. So please go ahead and hit subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when I come out with that next video. And if you liked this video, and I know you did, you know what to do. Just hit that like button. That's it, folks. I will see you in the next one. And hell to the football team.